Well, hello everyone, welcome back to my F1 2012 Career Mode Season 3 Round 14. I am Lovespuds, and we're at Singapore, the night race. And our objective today is to finish first, because I had a half-decent qualifying session for once. Actually, I was quite well on the pace today, quite surprising. The setup feels lovely. The gear ratios don't seem as bad as they were in Monza. And I don't tend to do too bad around this track, it's just the tyre wear that gets me most of the time. But yeah, there we go. So, racing around here, I haven't made any mistakes just yet. No times to compare it to as yet either, because I'm first out, I think. There might be two ahead of me there. Just going to cross the start-finish line now, let's see what they do. No, they were on their outlap. So, yeah, I'm the first one to cross the line on a timed lap, so we don't quite know what position I'm going to be in just yet. Bit of bouncing off the curbs into the barriers there. Not too bad. I'm not really a fan of this circuit anyway, but I just tend to do okay on it, which is fair enough. I mean, it's wide enough. It's a lot wider than Monaco is, so I'm happy about that. At least you can do some sort of overtaking without crashing your car into something. 107 in that second sector. Bit wide on that corner, but recovered it okay. Just lost a few tenths there, I suppose. Just go underneath the crowd. That was not a bad line. And through here, I'm probably a little bit slow. That's probably just down to my low downforce setup. And come across the start-finish line now for a 1:43.2. And there we go. Not a bad lap at all, really, to be honest. Let's see what the other guys have done.
Pole position. That's put us in with a great chance of winning the race tomorrow.
Oh snap! Oh snap! Just about a second faster than Nico Rosberg there. My rival Romain Grosjean in third. So let's get on and start this race. And away we go. Lovely amount of wheel spin there. It doesn't seem to penalise you for that in this game, so we'll take it. We're just about making around the first corner, and this is the problem that this is the sort of problem I had in America last season with the Mercedes. I just literally had no grip for some odd reason. It's doing it again, so I'm going to have to take drastic measures and come into the pits, change my tyres. That seemed to fix it last time, so I'm going to have to do it again. Just about managing to stay ahead though, but I am going really slow around these corners because I am just sliding everywhere for some reason, which is kind of ruining my race because I could have just got away. But the grip isn't too bad. I can at least drive it. It's not as if I'm sliding off every second like I was in America. I mean, seriously, I shouldn't have spun that much at 30 kilometers an hour. It's a bit drastic. So Rosberg gets past, takes the lead. Grosjean is behind in third. Got to be very careful going around these corners, especially the tighter ones, because I could end up sliding into barriers here. Wouldn't surprise me. This is the corner that worries me the most. Going around under the stadium, not stadium, stand, crowd stands. Yeah, you know what I mean. And just for something extra, I do a bit of corner cutting. So I'm going to come into the pits. Going to make probably a bad call, but what I'm going to do is mess up my menu selections and not have time to make one. But I wanted to go for the prime tyres anyway, so I'm going to do something monumentally stupid and try and get to the end on these tyres. So we've got to see how that goes. I expect I'll be okay until like halfway or something. Then I'll start to lose pace, so I've got to get a move on really. At least I've got some clear air in front of me, as long as I get around the corner. So I should be able to make up some ground. even though it's not ideal.
We predict a dry race.
But I have got my grip back, that's the main thing. It's just irritating that Codemasters being Codemasters I fucked up my race. But oh well, whatever. It's all part of the challenge, isn't it? I suppose. Maybe I assume it's like a little bug in the game, but I suppose that's in place of all the mechanical failures that you would have in a real season, as annoying as it is. But hey ho, I'm down to 24th. That gives me a little bit of time to see what's been going on this week so far. So last time I done a video, I think it was Tuesday or so, so it was after, as I do a bit of a spin, after the Monaco Grand Prix, so I've had a looks about that. As I said about the new tyres that were coming to Canada, they're actually not coming to Canada. They're coming, well, they will be in Friday practice, but there was a delay getting them there, so they'll just be back to the normal 2013 tyres that they've been using for the rest of the year, or the earlier in the year. And on Friday practice they'll get their hands on a new set of revised tyres. So it's unfortunate we're not going to see the racing on them, but I'm just quite interested to see if Mercedes really have sorted out some tyre issues, because as far as I'm concerned they're just going to go backwards most of the season. I'll be lucky if they win another race, to be honest, but you never know. Anything can happen. Also in the news, Williams has changed the engine supplier from 2014 onwards to Mercedes-Benz. So that's quite an interesting partnership. It'd be nice to see them do well again if the engine's up to it. But being Mercedes, it should be a pretty decent engine. They seem to have done well in the Mercedes car and McLaren Mercedes in the past, so and talking of McLaren, they're going to use Honda engines from 2015 onwards, which is quite interesting, going back to the old days of last time they used them were in the Senna days, wasn't it? And they had the red and white livery on their cars. So I'd love to see that. I mean, Honda have already been producing 1.6 litre engines. V6 engines they are, I think. I have to think about that. They're not V8s anymore. V10s. Oh, hang on. I have to think about that one. Yeah, because at the moment it's V8s, 2.4 litre V8s, and now from 2014 they're going to change to 1.6 litre turbocharged V6s. That's it. So yeah, what I was saying, that Honda are already making turbo 1.6 engines, so they should have a bit of an advantage over the other competitors come 2015 possibly. They might do, although the other engine suppliers may have already had a year to get used to it, so it might be negated somewhat, but you never know. But McLaren seem to be looking forward to that new era of turbocharged engines, especially with their evolution of this year's car, getting more towards that sort of ballpark, so they can be more prepared. Maybe they'll be pretty good next year, who knows? Who knows? But I'd like to see how they do in 2015. That would be interesting to watch. Good to see F1 is around for a few more years to come, as long as the Concord agreement is settled at some point. I don't know if it already has been, but last I knew it was up in the air. And that's the agreement that binds all the teams together and pretty much holds the championship together. That looks looking alright. Toro Rosso looks like they're going to use Renault engines. So let's see if they can move up the order. So a few few changes up and down the paddock for next year in 2015. Should be interesting times. I'd like to see what they. I'd like to hear what they sound like. That would be interesting to see the comparison between the two, this year's engines and next year's engines. I wonder if they will sound as weak as people think they're going to sound. But they shouldn't be too bad.
You're on the slower tyre, but you're maintaining the gap to the car ahead, so we're very happy. This is good.
So maintaining the gap to the car ahead. Some of the cars have made their pit stops, I think. Yeah, Massa's behind me. Down in 21st. That's fantastic. Never mind. But we just have to see how far we can get up the order in this race, because, you know, if I take another pit stop, then I'm going to be a bit fucked, really. So I've got to go to the end. Not that I'm any good at managing my tyres, really. Not in these short races, anyway. Especially when the pace is as it is. I mean, that wheel spin doesn't help. But you're not really penalised on this game for, like, you know, for example, locking up tyres, because in real world you would have flat spots. In this game you don't. It's just not something that's implemented, so you're not penalised whatsoever. Apparently I'm faster than Vern in Sector 3. Let's see if I can make a move on him sometime soon, but then again, he may just come into the pits and the track temperature's rising. Fan-dabby-dozy. Oh no, Vern's not coming in. Maybe I can just overtake him in just the first corner if I'm close enough.
We believe the car ahead is running standard revs.
Oh, okay, maybe. I wasn't quite sure about that. I was expecting him to brake a little later than that.
You're fitting the prime tyres to Pick's car. They're going for a longer stretch between stops.
But there you go. Should be able to take them DRS zone quite easily. I'm really close. See which way I'll go. Ooh. Indecision. I'll go over to that side instead. Why did he brake so suddenly? That could have caught me out, you know. But never mind. Just in some general news, I will be doing some more Race 07 videos soon. I just need to download some extra DLC packs to enable one of the tracks to work, because one I've downloaded won't work without a certain downloadable pack. So I will get onto that as soon as possible, and hopefully see some videos on that soon. I've got some news coming up.
You currently have a 3-second gap between you and the car behind.
Just general channel news, which I'll do in a separate video because it is very important. Probably do that next month. Well, next month. 4 weeks. About 6 weeks' time. A bit more than a month. Because there's going to be a lot of disruption to the channel at some point, and ideally I want to get I want 4 seasons done. And I've got 2 months to do it in practically, so so there definitely won't be a 5th season, unfortunately. Couldn't quite manage it. I would have done if I was had more time on my hands. I'd probably be in the middle of season 4 by now if I got my finger out, but never mind. You can't always foresee these things. What else? Canadian Grand Prix next week. Oh, that's too far away. Right, so where are we? We're up to 11th now, which is pretty cool. See if I can keep going. Some more front runners should be making their pit stops pretty soon, so I might even be able to get into points here if I stop bloody sliding about. I hate it when I get all out of balance, because it sort of affects me for a little while in the following corners, so I end up losing time to the car ahead. It's interesting that I've got Raikkonen behind me, so that's good. He's one of the main championship contenders this season. It's Grosjean I need to worry about. We've also got Rosberg coming up as well. He's also becoming a bit of a threat. He won the last race. I think he won a few before that as well, I'm not quite sure. So he's on a bit of a charge. Also, generally, I want to talk about, just mention that Grid 2 is out on, well, it came out yesterday or today or something, I don't know. I played it at Eurogamer. I mean, it was quite fun, but the cars, I've not been very impressed with what I've seen so far. I think I'd rather just play the original Grid and not bother with the second one, or at least get the second one cheap.
We think the car behind is running on full revs. He's trying to close the gap.
Oh, I got myself up to 6th. I might be able to take Perez soon, if I'm lucky. But yeah, overall I'm not really that impressed with Grid 2. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of variety. The new live track system where it changes the track in front of you, that's pretty cool, but it's not enough to make me want to buy it. I mean, the game itself does look pretty gorgeous. I mean, the visuals are quite nice. There's a few pixelated things here and there, but the real bugbear for me is that it doesn't have cockpit view. I mean, I know if this is true, I'm only that 1 in 5 part of the 5% that only use the cockpit view. I mean, I know I don't use the cockpit view on here, but that's more for YouTube purposes. I like to have the T-cam view, so you lot get a better view of the track, what I'm doing. It's just like I've got all the heads-up display. I've got the track map there, which I wouldn't need it anyway. It's just there to let you guys see what's going on, and having the speed and gear indicators there, the DRS and KERS, that's there for you to see as well. Because sometimes when I look at someone's videos and they're in cockpit view, I kind of find it hard to always read the steering wheel if I'm not in full screen HD. So that's the reason I use T-cam view. I'm perfectly capable of using cockpit view. It's not a problem. And I've actually learnt to go faster in T-cam view as well, which is quite weird. Probably just out of practice, really. But yeah, Grid 2 not having cockpit view, that really irritated me, because you know it goes to all this trouble of immersing you in the game, doing all this lovely backstory, which I've heard is pretty cool, by the way. It's a nice backstory. They've done it quite well, and yet they can't even be bothered to put you in the car. I suppose it's a cost-saving thing, but yeah, if you're gonna immerse me in a game, why not give me the option to have a cockpit? And it's just logical to me. As I fuck up that corner, for some reason they haven't quite got past me, which is quite weird. But yeah. Also, I don't quite like the driving in that game as well. From what I've seen, it's so much more arcadey than the original one. You know, I don't want to drift around every single corner. That, to me, that's kind of not boring, but it just gets a bit samey after a while. It's like, ooh, look at me, I'm sliding my arse around a corner. So yeah, about the millionth time. That just doesn't interest me. Unless it's a specific drifting event, then I don't care. I'll try my best, because I'm not actually too bad at it. I'm talking of drifting, I'm drifting around that bloody corner by accident. Unfortunately, that means Kimi's got ahead, but I have got DRS on him. I'm not sure it's enough. Which it isn't, which is an arse, because that means he's going to get a couple more points than me. And also my tyres are starting to wear out as well, with 5 laps to go, 5.5 laps to go, and he's running full revs, so yeah, I'm a bit buggered now in that respect, unless I can catch up to him in the next couple of corners, which I don't think is going to happen. So I just got to watch my backside for Kobayashi now, as I'm starting to form the beginnings of a spud train. But yeah, as I was saying,
We might need to think about moving to fuel mix mode 2 in the next few laps.
as I was saying, I think Grid 2's gone a bit too arcadey for me, which is a shame because I was kind of looking forward to a sequel of that, because I do own the original and I had good time on it. So yeah, I'm quite disappointed. If I pick it up, it will be for a cheap price. I'm not going to buy it at full price if I know I'm not going to enjoy it as much as I could. But never mind. Shame that Codemasters went down that route, but never mind. You know, I suppose they were putting efforts into other things. It sort of feels like they've done it sort of half-assed, but maybe they were just working on a budget or something, a particular budget that they couldn't go over. But, yeah. So, how are we doing here then? It's only lap 11 of 15. So, I've just got one eye on my second screen here. Oh yeah, so I also didn't mention the Mercedes test gate controversy. They're not letting this go anytime soon, are they? Sure. I'd be surprised if they had a penalty, but yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. Got Helmut Marko from Red Bull here comparing it to the Spygate scandal in 2007, where McLaren were stripped of all their constructors' points for possessing confidential Ferrari data. But is it that bad, really? I don't know. We have to wait and see how that story develops. Because I think it's Pirelli or Mercedes said that the FIA were informed, but apparently they weren't, or something like that. And then, you know, it seemed like it was a secret test. So yeah, I can understand why the other teams are pissed off, because 1,000 kilometers is a good opportunity to do some car testing, not just on tyres but on the car itself. They could get some valuable data out of that, so I can understand why they're pissed off. But apparently other teams had the opportunity to do so and they turned it down. Maybe they were just afraid that they were going to get penalised or something for it. But, you know, as you can probably tell, I don't really know much about this, so I'm going to leave that one here. As you can see, my car is slipping around on this screen, on this track. Now, my tyres are really wearing down. Must be several seconds off the pace, if not quite a few seconds. I mean, I'm already 10 seconds behind Raikkonen, who passed me about 2 laps ago, I think it was. And now I'm going to be in the situation where cars are crashing into the back of me and I'm drifting and sliding around. I have to say, it was a very uncomfortable last few laps to the end of the race. But unfortunately the game put me in that position when it magically took away the grip at the start of the race on my option tyres, so that's ruined the chances of my having a win, and also puts me in a bit of a precarious situation in the championship as well. because Grosjean's going to get some good points out of this. He's going to get 18 points. Rosberg is going to have another win, it looks like. So he's going to have a maximum of 25. Also got Raikkonen ahead of me as well, so he's going to score a couple of points more than me. All I can really hope for now is that people in front crash out. And you can see on the map, look how much of a train I've got behind me. I'm just holding everyone up, just like someone did in Monaco last weekend. It's quite hilarious. And that's where accidents happen. I'm just quite surprised I haven't had more cars slam into the back of me. I really hate those curbs. Waste of frickin' space. But just about hanging on to the grip there. Quite surprised I haven't really looked at my tyre wear levels yet. Maybe I just don't want to see them. It's now 16 seconds to Raikkonen. So I'm losing about 6 seconds a lap pretty much. Which is unfortunate. But you can see what happens what would have happened if I had pitted again. I would have dropped back to where Massa is, like bottom 20. Would have been able to make much more ground up because the AI are incredibly quick towards the end of the race, which is great fun when you're on the pace, of course. So you can see my best lap was a 147 and that last lap was a 153, which was actually slightly faster than the lap before, which is quite lucky, probably because I didn't spin at all. So we're on the penultimate lap now, just holding on, just trying to score as many points as I possibly can, just to avoid too much damage. I have actually completed this season just to get these videos done, and hopefully I'll be able to do season 4 as well before the end of July. That's my target. Judging on this month's form, I'd be surprised if I meet it, but I hate leaving things unfinished, so I'll probably try and make an extra special effort to get things done. But yeah, I've actually finished season 3 and I know what's going to happen. It is quite interesting towards the end. But you'll just have to wait until that happens. And I do actually get back on the pace, so that's good to see. On tracks that I didn't actually think I had pace on. So, really happy about that. So we got waved yellow in sector 3 and we got a car stop on the track. At the time, I wasn't really looking at the map, so I didn't know what was around the corner here. Hello, Hamilton. And everyone's crashed. But at least my wing didn't fall off, so I can continue, and that's held up most of the train that was following me. Still got Kobayashi behind, which is annoying. But now I'm up to 5th, so that gives me some extra points. Someone else has retired then, obviously, because I was in 7th and I've gone up to 5th. Where the hell's Raikkonen gone? Don't tell me Raikkonen's crashed out somewhere. Maybe those two tangled up, because you know, sometimes on this game when the AI gets caught by another AI car, it tends to just disappear after a while, so wouldn't surprise me. So also, oh yes, 20 cars left in the race, so there's been a few retirements. 19 cars, 18 cars. Bloody hell. A few DNFs today. And it's only a 15 lap race. I mean, saying that, I have actually seen a video of a 100% race where there's only like 4 or 5 cars left at the end of the race. That's ridiculous. But there you go. Nico Rosberg has won the race. Just nursing my car home. Try not to mess it up. because 5th place is a half decent haul of points, not to be sniffed at. And the gap to Perez is 34 seconds, which is abysmal. But at least I managed to hang on, and I haven't had any random punctures or anything. I haven't taken life out of the tyres too much. Oh, not too much. I say too much. I mean, my tyres feel absolutely crap, because I don't feel confident at all going around these last few corners. I'm just more being a bit of a blocker than more than anything going around here. But anyway, let's finish the race. That was a very, very tough race. Just keeping it on the track was bad enough, but I managed to get back up to 5th in the points from the disastrous tyres on the first lap, which is irritating. Massa still didn't get into the points. He finished 13th. So you got Rosberg, Grosjean, Schumacher, Perez, and then Spuds in 5th. Both Williams finishing points. Caterham of Petrov in 8th. It's quite interesting. So Vettel, Di Resta disqualified. I don't know how they bloody got disqualified. So Button, Raikkonen, Webber, and Hamilton, all those big names, DNF. And Verne heads up the last of them behind the HRT of De La Rosa. That's quite an interesting finishing result. Helps me out a bit.
Second in the Drivers' Championship.
I'm still second in the Drivers' Championship, 11 points behind Grosjean now. Got to do some catching up. And Kimi's not actually far behind, neither's Rosberg. It's quite tight at the top. Still all to play for. Still a few races to go. And then you got Felipe down there with his 1 point. It's turned out to be quite the interesting championship, not having everything my way. And I definitely won't win the Constructors, because well off that, 189 points. That's a bit of a difficult task for a one-man team, pretty much. But at least we won't fall any lower than 5th, 4th, shall I say. But anyways, another disappointed me sequence. Join me next time for round 15 in Japan. I'll see you next time.